So today we have a very exciting new ball, Equinox Solid from Storm, just announced, just released. So let's see it go down the lane, and I think we'll be pretty impressed with this one. Alright, so as you can probably tell, this is a pretty strong ball. The original Equinox, fairly strong asymmetrical core. This one, the original Equinox, obviously has the shiny pearl cover stock. That one was basically made as the ideal ball for house shots, medium house shots with some friction. So it stands to reason that the Equinox Solid would be for the high volume, low friction house shot. So if you bowl in a brand new center on a house shot, or if you're bowling on a very long pattern or a high volume pattern, this is probably a ball to get. So what I can tell you is bowling on this medium pattern with a little bit of play on it, there's a little bit of carry down. This ball is, the Equinox Solid is too early here. I can make it work, even with the carry down, it's still a little too early, but so definitely a strong ball. A little right. Oh. Ow. Definitely early, definitely strong. As again, I've thrown it probably 8 to 10 shots before starting this video. So I'm also kind of learning what it does. Very strong ball, very early ball. It comes out in the box pretty tall, which you can tell on the lane it definitely wants to pick up. I'm trying to get my hand a little bit more around it than I normally would, just to have it save a little bit of energy, so you can better tell what it actually does. But more shots. That's a good sign. That one was actually a little bit softer off my hand, a little more up the back of it, and still picked up. It still went through the pins. That's a good sign. All right, winding up on this, I brought the Iron Max, has a little bit of shine on it, and a lane shine RST hyperdrive. So let's compare it to those so you can kind of see the differences. Other than seeing that the Equinox Solid is early, I'm definitely also seeing a pretty decent amount of motion on the back end. The original Equinox was, for me, for a shiny ball, it was on the earlier side, and on the smoother side, it was still responsive, still wanted to back end, but it definitely wanted to do it in a smoother motion, which for me meant that I could use it a little bit straighter angles and a little bit earlier in blocks before the lanes really start to break down. This one, I'm kind of seeing the same kind of motion. It does feel like it's fairly responsive when it sees the friction. As you can see, it came back from pretty steep angle on one of the shots, but it's not a quick response time by any means. It's not a super snappy ball or anything. It's still big, strong, and fairly smooth, controllable. But let's compare it to probably right now my two favorite other strong asymmetrical balls. So let's start with a lane shine RST hyperdrive. And all three of these balls have pretty much the exact same layout, about 5 1/4 inch pin, and mass bias just slightly right of the thumb. So pretty similar layouts. So definitely you can tell the RST hyperdrive is much cleaner than the Equinox Solid. I can probably slow down my speed a little bit with the hyperdrive and get to hook from there. Probably also move my feet 2 or 3 boards right. So definitely cleaner than the Equinox out of the box. Let's give the Iron Max a go. This one has a little bit of polish on it, not super shiny, but a little bit of shine just from bowling at the Lucky Larsen Masters, where I didn't really need it to be super dull. So let's try this one from the same spot. got one into the to the carry down. It'll actually be interesting to see what the Equinox Solid does if I get that much into the carry down. Let's throw one more with the Iron Max just so you get a little bit better idea, and then we'll try to throw one with the Equinox where I get it into the carry down more. So, Iron Max definitely, because of the shinier surface, definitely cleaner than the Equinox Solid, but similar amount of hook, it just does it a little further downwind. And I would say the Iron Max does it in a little bit smoother fashion. To me, the Iron Max seems like it's a little smoother and wants to tumble a little more, wants to go forward a little bit more, where the Equinox Solid wants to continue and be a little more sideways, not snappy, but just a little bit more than the Iron Max. So I would imagine at the same surface, brand new Iron Max, brand new Equinox Solid, that the Equinox Solid would be a little bit stronger on the back end. Let's take the Equinox Solid and keep it in the oil a little bit more to see what it does. Alright, so one thing I'm seeing here is, because that was not too far off the shot where the Iron Max left the washout, so definitely the duller surface makes it pick up more, actually gets it back online a little bit more in the carry down, but also still responsive enough to get around the corner, even though there's a bunch of carry down there, which to me is a good thing. It kind of, like, first impression here, I'm kind of seeing the earliness of the Iron Max, or the Gem, or the Reality, whatever ball you like, most of them, with kind of a little bit more of the motion that I get from my favorite Pearl asymmetricals, like a DNA Coil, or the Equinox, or the like Attention Star, Gremlin, those kind of balls. So definitely seeing some like a good little mix there, where it's not just super early, tumbly, super smooth. It still has some pops, has some usability. Looks pretty good. Yeah, so definitely seems like it's giving me some good options compared to the Hyperdrive and the Iron Max. It's never a bad thing to have more really strong balls with different motions, because I feel like I always end up having to use one of those. Sometimes I have to use them dull, sometimes I have to put a little bit of shine on them, but I almost always have to use the super strong cores at some point, so nice to have different motions with the really strong balls. Okay, so this is 4 left, just to kind of see what happens. That's pretty impressive, I think, because the ball is already like, the Equinox Solid is already too early for this pattern. Usually when I start moving leftward balls that are hooking too, or that are picking up too early and kind of rolling out, they won't come back from that spot. They just kind of they'll stop and they won't really come back. And it's still back to the puck fairly decently, so that's really telling me that it wants to continue more than a lot of my other really strong and early balls. Throw one more from in there, try to get it to go flush. So we might be kind of at the limit of what the Equinox can do, at least on this condition. It's still picking up. That was a little bit slower, a little more rounded, and it picked up, bled off a little too much energy, but still got back to the pocket with enough to get a light strike. So again, telling me that it's gonna, when you're throwing this on a longer, higher volume pattern where it's not picking up too early, it's gonna have a decent amount of shape and continuation. I wouldn't be surprised if this one actually outhooks the Iron Max on longer patterns. I throw it a little bit straighter. Don't have too high hopes about hitting the pocket with this, but I'm going to try. Yeah, so that just tells me that the Equinox Solid is too strong, too early of a ball to use in that part of the lane on something like this. It just hooks too early, it just hooks super early, gets off line, goes through the face. So obviously we probably need to throw the original Equinox more in that spot actually. So let's try to throw that one in the spot where the Equinox Solid just went high. But you want your balls to be different enough to where you have one where you can play second arrow when there's friction. You want one where you can play fifth arrow when there's friction. You want one where you can play when there's a ton of oil, and those are not the same ball. And the Equinox Solid definitely fits in that category where if there's a lot of oil, if you have trouble getting the other balls to it, you go to the Equinox Solid and it's going to pick up and it's going to make some motion down lane too. Well, let's take the original Equinox, the shiny one, and throw it in the friction here. Yeah, that definitely, it gets through the front part of the lane, middle part of the lane. All the friction is much easier. It has that fairly smooth motion and actually gets to the pocket from that spot. And as you saw, the Equinox Solid had no chance from that spot. So that's how big difference the cover stock that these two make. The Equinox looks pretty good about, what's that, that's 11 boards right of where the Equinox Solid looks pretty good. So big difference between these two balls. So don't expect it to be, the Equinox Solid to be like a little replacement for your Equinox. It's going to be a big change, but I do feel like the back-end motion are kind of similar. So if you really like the motion, your Equinox, but kind of feel like you need something stronger version of that, much earlier version of that, Equinox Solid might be exactly what you're looking for. I would say, like, I'd be interested to see what this looks like if you polish it, but I would still imagine that it would be earlier and stronger than the original Equinox. I think the cover on this is stronger than the Equinox cover, so you would still have a step up, even though they would be much closer together, obviously. Just got a chance to throw the Equinox Solid on a lane with a little less play on it, so same pattern, just a little less play, so it's a little bit fresher. So on this, you can tell I can keep my hand a little bit more up the back of it. I can play a little straighter, but it's still, you can still tell it's strong. It's picking up early, but it's maybe a little bit easier to tell that it has that smooth, very continuous motion, where it's not super responsive. It's not sharp in any way, but it's also not super smooth, and it's not super chunkly, like for instance a gem that really wants to go forward. I feel like this one still wants to hook left and continue through the pins. 2 left off the last one. Ooh. Yeah, definitely, I can really tell there. It picks up in the mid lane, and as soon as it picks up in the mid lane, it starts going left in that nice archy continuous motion. It's a really nice motion. I feel like I'm not afraid about making adjustments because I feel like I can count on it still going through the pins. Yeah, that's really good. Early, strong, but a very rounded motion. And I feel like when you get these balls that are very continuous, very rounded, it also, even though they're early and strong, it almost makes them feel like you can use them when the lanes start to burn up a little bit. And now you've kind of seen it on 2 little bit different conditions, and I hope that helps you understand what this ball does. It definitely helped me here the first time I'm throwing it to see it on something that's a little bit burned up with some carry down and something that's fairly fresh. I'm pretty impressed because I don't think like a lot of the other balls have a gem out of the box. On this, an Iron Max straight out of the box, I would have a hard time getting that to shape down lane and doing the right thing. It would be really tricky for me to strike and get carry, and right now the Equinox Solid is just going flush as soon as I put my feet in the right spot. So I'm pretty impressed with that. That's definitely a really good sign, and it tells me that even though you might buy this ball for a fresh pattern, for fresh longer patterns, you can also use it when the lanes start getting a little messed up, a little burned up. It seems like the Equinox Solid wants to continue more than both the Iron Max and the Hyperdrive, which is kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting that. It wants to kind of keep going more than what some of the other really strong core balls want to. So that's really nice. I'm really looking forward to just seeing this one on like a long pattern in the bowling center with less early friction than there is here, so we can really see what this one is all about. But I think this one's going to be really good. It looks really good so far, and anytime you get something that's as strong as an Iron Max but with a different motion, that's kind of a win. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and yeah, brand new ball. When's that not exciting? But let's throw one more strike, and we'll call this a video, and you can go order your own Equinox Solid. There we go. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please go watch some of my other ball reviews and videos with tips on how you improve. If you like how the Equinox Solid looks or have any question about it, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to try and answer them. And yeah, hopefully this one's a winner for me and you guys. I think it's going to be really good as a super strong ball. And who doesn't need a super strong ball?